Hey there, guys. So today I want to answer a question that I get asked a lot, and that question is, what really is theta healing? Great question. Really hard to answer, but a great question. So, in my writing on my Instagram account, I often speak about the effects of theta healing and that it's so amazing and that you should definitely give it a try. But I sort of avoid really explaining what it is. And the reason for that is that it's just pretty hard to explain. But I'm going to give it a try today, and hopefully I can answer, or at least give you a little bit of a better understanding what it is and why it's so effective, right? So let me begin by saying that theta healing is basically a healing modality. Healing in the sense that through theta healing, you can work on all the things in you, all the things in your life that you feel are no longer aligned with the person you are growing into, the person that you want to be. Or let me rephrase into that the things that are no longer aligned with the person you truly are deep inside you. The way that I see personal development, it's not that I think you should learn other things or that you should be better or constantly improve. What I believe is that self-development is all about basically uncovering all the layers that we've taken on in the course of our lives to protect ourselves, to not get hurt, to deal with pain, and struggle and all those things, right? So I believe that in the core of you, you are still that wonderful being that you came here to be, and you've always been that person. And the only thing that is um, part of our self-development journey is to uncover all those layers that cloud that true self inside you. So theta healing is a really, really effective way to do that. Because what theta healing makes possible is that we connect to the layer of awareness where everything is energy, where everything is pliable energy, I should say. Because, also here in our day-to-day life, everything, everything is energy. I am energy, you are energy, all the things around us are made of energy. And the way that we know energy, or the way that we know the things in our daily life, is they're not malleable or pliable. They're pretty dense. That's the whole idea of our experience here on Earth. But in another layer of awareness, um, everything is pliable. Everything is back to fluent, moving energy. So theoretically, and in practice in theta healing, when you connect to that layer of awareness where everything is energy, it's not even that hard to reshape things, to change things, um, to mold that energy basically into the shape, the form, the surroundings, the way of being that are aligned with your true inner self. So that is what we do with theta healing. We use a meditation. You can learn that in an hour. You use a specific meditation to go into a state of awareness that is the theta brainwave. You've heard probably about different brain waves, different frequencies in your brain. The theta one is known as a brainwave that is very much about deep meditation, and often is said that it's really, really hard to attain and also really hard to maintain. But in fact, with this theta meditation, it's not hard to get there, and it's also not hard to stay there for quite a while without, anything being wrong with you or you not being connected to the normal world. Different than some other modalities and maybe plant medicines that take you into a theta state. theta healing keeps you pretty grounded, actually, and especially with a little bit of practice and yeah, a few sort of measures that you can take. You're completely well, you're completely grounded, you're completely there, and there's nothing outer worldly or weird about it at all. But it is a form of meditation. So that's the first thing that you need to learn. You need to learn to get into the meditation state required for this work. Very simple, actually. So in that meditation state, what we do is, as theta healers, we start asking questions. We can either work with other people, or you can work with yourself. And in both situations, you basically start asking questions. You, as a coach, you start inquiring and trying to figure out what is really going on. What is the deepest thing that is challenging this person? And that can be something around a belief structure. It can be something about a challenge around a specific feeling. For example, if someone comes to you and says, I'm unable to feel love, you can work with that in theta healing. Theta healing can even work on physical things and support you in handling, for example, indigestion or some of the other, many of the other physical things that can be wrong. So the first thing that you do is you go on the journey to understand what's really going on. What's the deepest challenge, and why is this thing going on for this person? How are they being served by experiencing the thing that they're experiencing? What are they learning from that experience, or that feeling, that lack of feeling, that belief? What is it bringing to them? Why are they holding on to it even? And so, and when you figure it out, what is the most fundamental reason why this thing is in that person's life, then through a command structure that you also learn in theta healing seminars, you can basically remold the energy so that it is no longer giving that experience, that belief, that feeling, or that lack of feeling, or even that pain, for example, to that person. You can reshape it so that that person is experiencing a more supportive feeling, belief, all the things. Let me take a sip of tea. So almost anything that you can experience is a potential thing to work on in theta healing. Some things can be changed and reshaped in a session. Others cannot. So why is that? The reason is that we are constantly searching for the bottom belief, the lowest reason why that person sees things that way or is experiencing the things that they are experiencing. So I always show it as a pile of books, actually, because if you have a pile of books and you draw out the underneath, the most underneath book, all the other books fall on the ground as well. So it's like yeah, it's just like that. Basically, you pull out the bottom one and all the rest falls as well. So what you do in a theta healing session is you try to find the bottom belief, and in some cases that's quite simple, and in some cases it's a little bit harder, and then it might take a little bit more work or more effort, because people are in that case a little bit like onions. You peel away a layer, and that creates the possibility to see the layer underneath that and underneath that. And sometimes within a session, you can go through 5 layers in no time. And sometimes it takes a little bit more effort or a little bit not necessarily effort. It's more integration time. So, um, yeah. So what I wanted to explain basically is that theta healing is resting on the foundation that, or on the fundamental truth in the universe that everything is energy. And that if you go into the awareness level where that energy is not dense and stuck to each other, but where it's fluid and moving around, it's not hard to change the experience someone is having. I think that is sort of the foundational way to, or at least that gives, I think, some idea of what theta healing is. So, what can you do with it? I've mentioned a couple of things already, of course. So, like, you can change feelings or lack of feelings. You can change beliefs. One of the things I really love to do, and I think many of us are searching for currently, is changing limiting beliefs. And with theta healing, really, that's not hard. And also, it really doesn't have to take much time. While in basically any other technique to change limiting beliefs, it takes a lot of digging, it takes a lot of understanding, a lot of work, a lot of speaking about it, blah blah blah. But with theta healing, you can just change it. Another thing that is fun are downloads. Downloads in theta healing are basically like it's as if you're downloading new software, right? So, for example, I have the software that I am not really enough, which will limit me from manifesting prosperity in my life, or some of the things that I might want in my life, or a happy relationship, or a healthy body, or this is a very foundational one. Being enough. Many of us, by the way, have fundamental doubt that we are enough. Many of us. It's unbelievable how many. I think maybe, you know, in any given day, I think there's maybe 75% of people who don't deeply, subconsciously know that they are enough. So if this is you, don't worry. We've so many of us have been there, and it's easy to change. So a theta healing download is basically like a package of software. You um, can, from that level of awareness where everything is energy, you can also state that a certain knowing, a certain feeling, a certain belief should be downloaded into the person, and instantly you can integrate that um, that feeling or belief, whatever it is that you're downloading, into all levels of that person's being. So both physically, as in their subconscious beliefs, in their conscious beliefs, but even in their family lineage. And even the collective can benefit from all of us being downloaded with knowing that we are truly, truly, truly deeply enough. Yeah, so that's a really fun thing, I think, to do with theta healing. And one of the awesome things that you can access if you want to experience theta healing is receiving the 1001 download program. So there are many 1001 download programs related to manifesting in abundance, to feeling enough, for example, to love and sexuality. You can, well, many themes, and some theta healers offer them on a regular basis. It takes quite a bit of time, like 3 hours or so. As a receiver, you don't really have to do anything. So the theta healer in question will name out all the downloads and beliefs, and regularly you sort of must consciously say, I do want all these downloads, and then they're downloaded into your being. And the funny thing is that with um, a thing called muscle testing, which you learn in a theta healing seminar, for example, you can also find out if the beliefs are truly inside you. Um, the best thing to do is to muscle test before you receive a download to see that you don't have it yet. And then after, I do it in sessions sometimes as well, you show first to the person, or you check if they have a specific feeling or awareness or belief or whatever. If they don't, you can download it. And afterwards, you can check again and see that they now do have it. So it's a very physical confirmation. Um, Maybe it's nice to do a video about that technique as well, because it's not hard and you can use it for more than theta healing actually. So those are the downloads. And then theta healing is also a really effective way um, to explore your own spiritual awareness, I think is the best way to say it. So I think there's just two sort of prerequisites before you learn theta healing. The first one is that you sort of embrace that concept that everything is energy. Well, as I said, Einstein already said that. So it's not that, maybe I think most people can relate to that or can accept that. The second thing is that it's super helpful if you already have some sort of idea that there is a creating force or a creating energy in the universe. That, whatever you call that, you can call it the universe, you can call it God, you can call it spirit, you can call it an energy, whatever you want. But if you embrace that concept, then theta healing is actually super easy. And it allows you to really start exploring all the things that may have sound magical before, but in fact are something that we can all do. Often among theta healers, we say it's just remembering things that you already know on a deeper level. And probably when you're drawn to theta healing on some, intuitive, subconscious way, you're ready to learn it. And then it just takes basically 2 hours or so to teach the basics. So a theta healing basic seminar is actually not 2 hours, but 3 days, because there's a lot of things to learn, and you learn not only the actual technique, but also how to use it, of course. So you learn to dig for the bottom belief, that you learn to download feelings, you learn to work with fears, and yeah, all the things. So it's a bit of a program, but it's really, really fun. There's a lot of experiencing, and it's if you're drawn to it, I highly, highly recommend it. It's for me, it really changed my life for the good, for the better, and for the best. So yeah, maybe just, so as an example, it's how it changed my life. I remember when I was doing the advanced course, just as a practitioner, so not as an instructor. I had a lot of, my daughter was just becoming a teenager. So she and we had issues, right? Like moms and daughters do when they get to that age. And I took that topic and those challenges, I took them with me in that course. Because, of course, in the seminar, you work on your own issues as well, right? With the students that are there as well. And I brought in as a topic that challenge with my daughter. And during the seminar, also a 3-day seminar, I think I did maybe 3 or 4 small sessions, just exploring different techniques with my fellow students. And at the end, when I came home on Sunday evening, my daughter was just really happy to see me. She was really open, really welcoming. She really let me in. One of the things that had been a little bit weird between us. And since then, actually, since the things that I had changed in me, mind you, I wasn't working on her, I was working on me. But because I had learned all these new feelings, because I worked with my limiting beliefs, my ideas of what it was that made me a good mom or not a good mom. Some of the things that I had learned during my childhood about being a teenager, being a mother, um, yeah, some beliefs that I held around this whole interaction, they had shifted. And the interaction between me and my girl, it had shifted too, immensely. Really like, day and night. And I think for me that was the moment that I truly embraced the power of theta healing, because I experienced it firsthand. It made such a difference in my personal life. Since then, I found many other topics, even new topics in the relationship with my daughter, of course, because of that onion thing, right? We're layered. But that is when I really knew theta healing works. And, again, if you're curious, if it draws you in, I highly recommend doing it. Go for that basic seminar, or just go to a practitioner to do a few sessions on the things that you feel are really holding you back from living that most empowered, that most impactful, um, sovereign life that you are born to live. Okay, so I hope that made some sense, and that it cleared up a little bit of why theta healing is working and why it is so powerful. If you have questions, you can post them in the comments, and I'll tune in and reply whenever that is required. So thanks for watching. Ciao.